Royce giving all the money. That first. Rolls-Royce, Charles Rolls Henry Royce, last names. Turner Broadcast System, Ted Turner, last name. Versace, last name. Wells Fargo, Henry Wells, William Fargo, last name. Walgreens, last name. Wrigley's, last name. Welch's Grape Juice, last name. Here you are, you think you're buying a product. You are not buying a product, you're buying a name. You think you're wearing a product. Hey, look at this product. No, you're saying, look at this family. And what you don't know is while you're making every family rich, you're making yourself broke. So you done went to one family called Wells Fargo and got $200,000 so you can go to another family called Rolls Royce so you can give them money to get yourself a car so you can go back to the hood and see the Joneses and say, look at what I got. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo, that family sitting up being rich, and Harley Davidsons and Rolls Royce are being rich, and the Joneses are sitting there holding up people's stuff saying, look at what we did and we broke. What if I told you that your blessing is attached to your name? That part of the reason why you're not wealthy yet is because you keep trying to make Yolanda wealthy. You keep trying to make Tasha wealthy. What if you made Johnson's wealthy? What if you started thinking about your kids? What if you started thinking about your legacy? What if God started dropping payment and opening up windows of heaven? Because now you're not just thinking about you, you're thinking kingdom.
Woo! Oh my goodness, got them vibrating this morning. We are thinking big about not just us, deep about the last name, about the kingdom that we're here to leave, the legacy that we're here to go ahead and impact others with. So I'm fired up, family. Happy Friday, TGIF. What a phenomenal week so far, huh? So many things coming to fruition. We have ka-chings coming out of nowhere. JoJo just smashed Blue Pass 300 sales. Shane and Talina just got one of the most amazing partnerships that they've honestly been manifesting about for years, to be able to give back to the Virgin Islands, to save some of the farmers. So talk about being able to find some things that really light the fire, something that we're really passionate about, and giving back, most importantly, to the purpose. So I want to give it up to you guys. I want to give you your shout outs and your love. New members are joining. So much is going on right now, and I couldn't be more grateful and thankful for everything that is happening for us in life. So family, as you guys can see, we're going to be talking about breaking generational curses today. This is going to be a very deep topic. I'm going to get everybody thinking today. This was something that we actually got this morning from one of our mentors, and this one really hit home. So I'm excited to go ahead and share this one with everybody to get the gears turning. But before we dive in, as always, what's everybody grateful for coming into the Friday? How are we feeling? What are we grateful for today? And let me get live on IG, and it's game time. Here we go. Awesome. All right, IG's plugged in. We're live. Awesome, family. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm thankful for the dream team. I'm so grateful to be able to get up every day, to be able to take a breath, to breathe, to move, to be able to jump into the day, to take advantage of the opportunity of even just being here. Not everybody had the blessing to be able to wake up today, so I will never take that for granted. I'm thankful for even the morning rituals. Today is 284. Drop your days down below. Let me know what day everybody's on coming in, because this is why, right? We've been documenting this almost every day, and you guys can see that now things are starting to manifest because we've taken the time to envision it, embody it, feel it long before it even happens. And that is one of the biggest secrets that took me a little while to learn. So I'm grateful for it all, family. Let's go ahead and get into the day. You ready? Here we go. Today, we're going to be talking about breaking generational curses. And I have a question that I want to go ahead and start off the day. The same question that we got this morning. I want to give it back to everybody. Z, what's going on? Shade, Aura, Morgan in the building. What's up, family? It's great to see you. Okay. Here's my question for everybody today. Ready? Here's how we kicked off the morning. How many of you can think about the first things that you've done, maybe inside of your family, maybe inside of your close circle of influence, right? The first ever to exist in your family. Your first time you guys went to Paris, the first time that you guys maybe went to the Grand Canyon, you're the first in your family to actually graduate college, the first in your family to actually get out and do something that most haven't done? What are a couple things that you guys can start thinking about that you might be the first with? Even for me, I can think of a lot of things that I'm the first with inside of my family, right? Nobody in my family has ever graduated with a bachelor's degree. Nobody's ever played at the level of sports that I've played at, right? Getting deep into a couple of different things, I started to realize there's a lot of things in the first that we've done before a lot of people inside of our family. So here's what's important to understand, okay? If there's been a couple of things that you guys can think about that you've done the first in your family, understand that that is just a tip of the iceberg of what is possible for all of us, right? Because when you really think about it, how many big first moments are we actually responsible for, and how many memorable first moments are we ready to go ahead and create for others? Okay, this is as we go through this, watch how deep this gets. You ready? Let's think about some of the most influential people that we can go ahead and go through in our mind. It could be any industry that pops in your mind, right? Elvis Presley, Oprah, Gandhi, MLK, right? Martin Luther, Malcolm, all of these phenomenal individuals. What's something that we can go ahead and take away from that, right? If you think about 1111 page of vision, watch this, right? All of these individuals, the second that they grab a pen, it goes up in value. The second that they were to go sit in a car, it goes up in value. The second that they sign a piece of paper, it goes up in tremendous value. The second that they touch it is worth more. How many of you guys have ever heard the term, it's like, yo, everything they touch turns to gold? Well, this is true as we start to grow. If you start to really look at the 1% of people, and here's what I was talking about this morning, right? When you talk about the greats, right? When you're talking about getting into a certain level, when you're talking about the rarest of the rare pinnacles, right? Here's what happens. As we start to climb this journey, as we start to grow through all of these different obstacles, here's what starts to happen. A lot of us get delayed because of many different things, but we feel like we're starting to lose control. How many of you have ever felt like you've been consistent with your routine, and then all of a sudden we go right back to the old us, right? Drop a 2 down below if you guys feel like you can relate. I've been there many times along my journey. I've went hot for maybe a week or two, and then I'd go right back to the old habits. And I kept asking myself, like, what is going on? What is the delay? And the reason for that is, as we start to go into this path of the unknown, okay, it's easiest for us all to go ahead and reach back and grab what it is that we're familiar with. We're all familiar with our old story. We're all familiar most of the time with giving ourselves the self-talk that's not necessarily conducive for any of our growth. So I had to start to really analyze and ask myself, what are the biggest reasons that I'm having for delay? And when I was sleeping out of my car, when I was going through, it seemed like Murphy's Law in my life, I realized a big part of that delay was nothing really happening as much external as it was really happening internally. You see, the delay all happened right here. Why is it that some people can get hit by life and that same instance can hit to somebody else, but one person will allow that same situation to keep them stuck, trapped, depressed, paralyzed for weeks, months, year, maybe even years? But then you could take a similar individual that goes through a similar situation and they handle it completely different. You see, one was able to go ahead and turn that fuel into fire. The other one literally let that douse out their fire. So the lesson is, we all have things that happen to us in life, but it's learning to understand, what is the reason? What's the lesson? Why is this placed here in my life? And what can I actually learn from it? Truth be told, even today, right now, as we speak on this call, I know for a fact everybody collectively is growing through things right now on this call. So it's just as easy to go ahead and give an excuse and name this as a delay. We're now in the month of May. So it's easy to say whatever we're going through, this can delay me for the next week, the next month, the next year. But at the same time, let me ask you this question. Is it really going to matter in 5 months from now? Whatever it is that we're so worried about, whatever it is that we're so stressed and anxious about, I had to get in this mantra of telling myself this. If it's not going to matter in 5 months, I'm done spending more than 5 minutes thinking about it. And I promise you, that little tip right there changed so much in my life. I started to understand how much weight I'm carrying every single day that I don't need to be carrying. I'm carrying other people's problems. I'm carrying other people's weight. I'm carrying other people's issues. How many of you guys have ever been somewhere and you've literally felt it? You felt somebody's negativity talking, and it runs down their leg, across the floor, and right up your leg, and now we're drifting in their same negativity. This happens all day long until I started to realize that we have control. We have the power to be able to really, really access a different part of awareness and really see, do I need to be worried about this? Do I need to keep thinking about the situation or issue? Or am I able to let it go and keep going and keep flowing, right? So here was the next piece that we talked about. What's the story that we've created for ourselves around wealth? What's the story that we've created for ourselves around love, happiness, our financial side? Have we been that person to say, oh, they made it because they got lucky. I'm never going to be able to happen because I'm growing up in this city. I have nobody around me that's successful that I can learn from. When you start to really study those who have got to elite levels, or those who have even seen multiple different types of success, I can show you all different walks of life, whether they came from a third world country, whether they were a student, a single mom, a grandmother. Everybody has the same opportunity. The difference is being able to believe it, being able to change the story for ourselves. So many of us have went through different parts of life. We've failed. We've been told no. We've tried things that didn't work out. And a lot of those things has developed our belief for ourselves. So when we think about money, when we think about relationships, oh, I've always had bad relationships, I'll never be able to find the one for me. Well, that's the story until that story changes, then we're going to be able to allow the right vibrational frequency to start working for us in our life. You see, I've been in points where I've been the one to just keep speaking negativity, keep speaking lack. You know what I brought about? More lack in my life. When I was homeless out of my car, I kept speaking, why does everything keep happening to me? Why does all this negativity keep coming right in my lap? And I promise you, it led me to one more negative thing to complain about. So I started to understand everything that we experience in life. Nothing is either good, nothing is bad. It is whatever we make it. So when you can start to realize whatever lens that we can look through can change our complete outlook on life, this is where the magic really starts to happen. So let's dig one more layer deeper. You ready? Most people are great teachers of poverty. If we look at social media, if we look at the news, it's not hard to find great teachers of poverty, great teachers of misery, great teachers of living in lack, okay? But let's think about the other side. Because if you think about a dash, right? How many of you guys have ever visited a family member at a graveyard? How many of you guys have ever seen somebody else's tombstone? If you haven't, I highly suggest you take the time to go ahead and experience it at least one time in your life. And I promise you're going to look at things a lot different. You won't look at life the same. You won't look at time the same. See, drop a 3 down below if you guys have ever visited a tombstone, if you guys have ever actually seen it or maybe touched one in person. Because I want to give you guys something from the training this morning that hit me like a brick. You ready? Check this out. You see, whenever you look at a tombstone on almost everyone that exists, they always have a bio. They always have maybe something that strongly gave a phenomenal description of that individual, short and sweet most of the time. But you'll always notice there's a date, there's a dash, and there's a date. And those 3 things represent somebody's entire life. That little tiny dash represents all of the memories, all the things that they experienced, all of the wisdom that's ever happened inside of their life. And when I heard this morning, I'm not going to lie, I literally had goosebumps the second that he finished the sentence. Ready? Here's what he said. He said, it is so precise when we stop giving because we have a time of birth and we have a time of death. For many, they're justified to just put a dash in the stone that lasts forever as a summary of our beginning to end. So here's the choice that we all have today. You ready? Go ahead and star this in your notebook if you guys have this down. Ready? Here's the star for the day. If you take one thing from today, here's what he said. Our choice today is, do we live a dash of a life, or do we dash now to go ahead and change it all, to change the rest of our life? You see, there's so many people. I'm about to hit 30 years old, right? My birthday's coming in September, 9/3/93. I'm 29. I've noticed even when I was in college, there were some people that I would see that were at 30, that were 35 years old, and they would always ask themselves the question, how did I get here? How did I end up here? You see, if you haven't noticed yet, time flies, family. Time can go by faster than any of us know it. And when you realize how precious that is, we start to really take advantage in the window that we have. That's why they say any day we can make a decision, decide, meaning to cut off, make a decision to create momentum in our life. Same thing with momentum. You look at the first word of momentum. In a moment, we can make a decision to cut off to create momentum inside of our life. And this is exactly what I did in 2015, graduating college, living out of my car, 30K in debt. I literally made a decision in a moment to saying enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of having a negative story for my body, for my finances, for my relationships. So you know what I did? I literally went out and I competed at FGCU for a physique show competition. Was depressed. I lost so much weight. I wasn't eating. I said, you know what? I'm ready to change the story for my body, for my finances, for every different aspect of my life. And I went out, and it's crazy. You can literally go back and look on my Instagram and scroll to the bottom. I actually won the physique show for FGCU. And I started to understand a couple of different things. As we start to gain confidence in ourselves, as we take time to go ahead and move and do these daily rituals to better ourselves, forget about business, to just better ourselves in life. I promise you, that's what you guys hear me say it all the time. We're going to win long in life way before we win in business. When we can develop rituals to get up earlier, to start eating better, to start drinking alkaline, to start hanging around better influences, listening to better types of audios, picking up and reading books, right? All of these is where the magic really happens. And then the money follows. And then the impact follows. So what a cool topic to really get deep, talking about breaking generational curses. You guys heard it in the beginning of that video. If you look at some of the biggest brands that exist, Rolls-Royce, right? Procter & Procter, Wells Fargo, Ford, all of these big companies it's not just things that people made up. It's actually their last names. So you start to realize how much weight our last name really carries. So now the question becomes, what is the legacy that we want to leave for our last name? What are people going to talk about in that dash that we actually did inside of our life? You see, I learned something years ago when I was getting around Alex Morton. He said, one of the most powerful things that any of us can do is understand the impression of increase. Anytime that we meet somebody, anytime that we wake up, anytime that we encounter anybody, is to be able to think about how can we leave that person with an impression of increase. Whether we're at the gas station, we're opening a door and smiling for somebody. Whether we're paying for somebody's meal, maybe one time out of a couple months at a drive-thru, even something so simple, giving back to anybody, sending somebody a free book, right? All of these different things is all ways that we can go ahead and give back in multiple different ways. So I started to realize even free, we can send a gratitude good morning message to anybody, and that's being able to give back. Don't ever underestimate the little things, right? The second I saw so many make a lot of money and lose it, here was the lesson. The moment that we get too big for the little things, we're going to get too little for the big things. That's why years later, I'm always still a student. I'm always still getting on the calls. I'm always still taking notes. And even you guys plugging in, that's what I love to see, because this is what I wanted to duplicate. That's how real leaders are going to duplicate. And that's how you guys are going to go out and create the same wave in your organizations. By leading by example, by showing up, by doing the things that most people are not willing to do. Because I promise you, by leading by example, the wave, the ripple effect that we have together collectively as a unit, as a community, is limitless. Fam, you got to really think about it. There's not too many out there that are getting on together on a daily basis to grow, to level up, to learn, to get around a positive influence and community. What we have right here is a very special thing. Right? If you guys understand how special this is, if you guys are grateful for this community, drop a 7 down below. Because years ago when I was sleeping out of my car and me and Chino were talking about creating this massive vision, that was the goal, was to be able to put people's different strengths together, to put our visions together, because I know rising tides raises all ships. Our vision, our passions might be all different, but here's what I also understood. We're all going after the same thing. Time freedom, being able to give back to our family, being able to go ahead and leave an imprint for those that are to come after us. This is where the magic happens. So as I leave you today, here's the question that I have for everybody to think about. You ready? How are you going to leave people today? What kind of value can we leave today? What type of impression of increase can we go out and leave today? I understood years ago If we only think about ourselves, we'll only ever make enough for ourselves. But if we can start to think about the service of others, how we can give back, how we can be those of value, it's going to come back 10x. You see, family, over the next 12 to 18 months, 12 to 24 months, those that just have a job, those that are just getting by, those that are not learning, those that are not getting educated, I'm not here to scare you, but I am here to tell you the truth. The gap between the poor and the wealthy is going to get very big. It's going to split. And what's going to be the biggest difference? You guys heard it on the audio that I played this week for you. What's going to be the biggest difference that separates those that get on the wealthy side, that get on the wealthy transfer of what's about to happen, is being a person of value. Being a person of value. You see, with value, there's no limit to what you can go out and achieve. There's no limit to the impact that we can go out and make. No matter the recession, no matter how bad, no matter how big of a depression happens, if we have value, there's never going to be a shortage. You see, Warren Buffett, he talks about, there's a lot that actually talk about it. They talk about poor people focus on money, wealthy and the wise focus on value. Because if you have value, it'll always come back 10x. And this is how the 1% creates generational wealth. They're trading money for money, and they're able to give massive value. So these are the questions to think about today. How can we go ahead and give value? How can we leave anybody with an impression of increase? How can we give back? And here's my mantra for everybody today. Here's my RCP, my random call of program for those of you that don't know what that is. This is going to hit your subconscious. Just listen to me, soak it in, feel it, absorb it. You ready? Here we go. Here's my Friday gift for everybody. Here's your RCP. You are more in each moment. The gratitude that you're creating every day is creating more optimism, is creating more momentum, because we're saying this over our life. I am more. I am enough. I say today is the day that we make the change to go ahead and break generational curses. Today is the day that I'm ready to go ahead and draw a line in the sand to take the action on the date. What's today? Cinco de Mayo? What a legendary, what a perfect day to take the action to go ahead and write this date down and say, this was the day that led me to the next fork, to the next change in my life. Today is the day that I feel all of my cells awaken, I become alive, and everything starts working out and moving inside of my favor. Today is the day that I'm able to go ahead and have more doing less. I'm able to go ahead and do more of what I want and less of what I don't. Can you feel that? Can you feel yourself vibrating? Can you feel your arms getting warm and tingly? This is the secret, family. This is the secret. The feeling. The spoken word. Belief. Confidence. Knowing that it's already done. We're not creating sheep, family. We're creating lions. So that's my training for everybody today, and how to really get deep on thinking about how powerful our last name is. What are we here to leave? What's the legacy that we're here to impact others with? And how can we go out and leave anybody with an impression of increase? Every story, believe it or not, family, that energy is going to ripple. They're going to feel that. Every time that you put out a video, every time that you meet somebody in person, you shake their hand firmly, you smile, and you look them in the eyes, and you give them that energy. I promise you that energy ripples more than you even know, and it's going to come back 10x into all areas of our life, and let that compound day after day, week after week, month after month, and the years, and we're going to be able to look back and see this phenomenal empire that we've built. And guess how it happened? Day by day. That's it. We're just focused on laying each brick as best as we can lay it, and head down, looking back, we're going to see this huge empire that we built, and you're not even going to notice it in the day-to-day. But it takes time. Great things take time. So when you speak, it is done. Is the beginning, there was the word, and the word is light. It is already done. So family, that is my training for everybody today. If you got a little bit of value, if you're feeling fired up, if you're ready to go ahead and make your name, your last name ring for the decades, for the generations to come, drop some threes down below, because I know it is already done. I know not only are we the ones that made the choice. You see, it's not the chosen few that are reserved for greatness, that Mahatma Gandhi, all these phenomenal people, they were not the chosen few, family. They did not get chosen by God. Let me give you a secret. Let me give you another secret. They were just the few that chose. They're not special. They bleed just like you and I. They sleep just like you and I. They have a brain just like you and I, but they were able to tap into it at a deeper level. So with that being said, family, if nobody told you today, I believe in you. I believe we are the few that have chosen to go ahead and break these generational curses, to go ahead and leave a positive dent in the world. So, Finn, with that being said, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful for everybody. Let's go out and have a phenomenal day. Let's end this off with a bang. Remember, it's your favorite entrepreneur, Define Dreams. We can be, do, and have anything we can hold in our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. I will see you, family, today at 6 o'clock. I will be throwing down a next wave training, how to go ahead and launch your business, 4-step process. Get ready. A lot of value coming for today, Friday. TGIF. Growth includes Friday. Let's go. Sheesh.